how are you guys doing this in your life? The amount of stuff at my parents' house is just overwhelming.
So my mom's been very present about. She has these rules. She's had these rules in place for a long time. Buy something new, get rid of two.
I love minimalization. I want to minimize more. We all get so attached to possessions and we spend our money on them and then they keep us where we are instead of getting out more and spending that money on adventures and seeing the world. Welcome to the Midlife Crisisses podcast, everybody, where you can laugh at us or with us as we talk about the challenges of navigating our midlife. My name is William Drumm. I'm a 39-year-old single dad, and I'm just trying to figure stuff out day by day. I'm based in Denver. I'm an underwater photographer, so I'm also self-employed, so I'm juggling that too. And I've got just endless crises to talk about. So each week we talk about what's going on with us and hopefully help you guys navigate yours as well. As always, I'm joined by my lovely guests here. We've got Mr. Tyson Apostol. Tyson, what's up?
Not much. Just, in my midlife, getting older, closer to death each and every day, each and every second, every hour. And I mean, I guess there's probably moments where you're actually making your life longer by taking certain actions. So maybe,
Sleeping.
Yeah. So every time you sleep, you're actually like, oh, my life isn't shortening in this moment. It's actually lengthening a little bit. And then you just hacksaw a bunch of it off as you go through your day. But I'm happy to be here. I was on Survivor a bunch of times. And I have lots of life experience, but I don't know. My crises so far aren't catastrophic in nature, but they are plentiful. I have two daughters, a 9-year-old, 6-year-old, and, we're in that phase almost where the teenage battles start. Like, couldn't get my daughter to put a sweatshirt on to go to school for anything. It's 60. It's going to be 60 as the high today. That's sweatshirt weather for sure. And she's like, no. And I was
I have that battle with my 4-year-old almost every day, too. So
you
I don't
do?
know, that's just, she hates putting on sweatshirts when it's freezing out.
Well, that's what we did this morning. So I finally just took her to school and walked in and was like, hey, so don't judge me. I did tell her to dress warmer than this. And they're like, yep, nurses have warm clothes if they need at recess. I was like, cool. I bet they're not as cool as the ones we have at home, but that's what you're stuck with. So happy to be here and talking through our midlives. And let's kick it off to our other co-host, Bradley.
You know it. What's up, guys? Bradley Hasemeyer, content creator living in Atlanta, Georgia. A couple of kids, 4-year-old son, 11-year-old daughter. Today's a snow day in Atlanta. Very rare. Very rarely does this happen. So school got called off. So I'm shooting in a different area than I'm normally shooting, but that's just because the rest of the crew's downstairs doing their thing. And we're glad you guys are here joining us. I've actually been listening to our own podcast because I forget about some of the conversations we have. So it's fun to go back and visit. I have liked and subscribed. And if you guys are listening, even if you're not hosting, you should like and subscribe too. That helps us and it helps you. And we love getting to do what we do, bearing our souls for you guys and girls who are going through your own midlife crises. And I love this show because we're all coming from different parts of life. We're all bringing different crises to the table. And today I've got the question. Each episode, one of us brings a question to the table that no one knows about. And so mine is kind of like sometimes it's existential. Those are usually from William, the artist. But today is like a little bit of like, how are you guys doing this in your life? Or is this even a problem? Recently, we were at my parents' house and realizing the amount of stuff at my parents' house is just overwhelming. Every nook and cranny is more things and more stuff, and you open a closet and there's a bunch of stuff there, and there's stuff over here, and the garage is packed, and the basement has things, and I know, if you don't move a lot, like I don't know about you guys, but I mean, I've moved like 16 times, so every time I do, it's like whittle down, get rid of stuff. They've been in the same house for like 25 years, so it's like it's easy to accrue, stick it in a closet, forget about it, buy a new thing because you forgot you had it. But the reason this comes up is because my grandfather, so my mom's dad, recently passed away this past summer, just of old age. and they've had to go through so much of his stuff. And she was even complaining to me, like, we had to go through all of his clothes and all of his cameras and all this stuff. And it wasn't like a tragic random thing. Like they knew this was coming. And yet still, just like we had to put everything in storage and then go through it and then who gets what and all this kind of stuff. And I'm just thinking, we're in our midlife, which means our parents are beyond that. And of course, we're all heading toward death, as Tyson so aptly put, as you hacksaw your way closer to death every day. And so I'm just curious, like, is this a thing that you guys are dealing with, like with in-laws or your own parents? And if so, like, is it just like, hands off, you can't change people? Or is it like, well, I don't want to deal with all this stuff when you pass, so can we start going through it now? How are you guys dealing with that?
Interesting.
Yeah. My dad keeps a lot of stuff, and then he goes through like a cleansing pattern. So like you go to his desk at work and it's just stacked with stuff. Like there, you can't even see the desktop. But then like every few years, he'll be like, I got to clear this out. And it's mostly paperwork and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's just like stuff that probably isn't even needed anymore and needs to go through the shredder. And he's just like, I can't walk to the shredder. It's too important, too much valuable information on it to put it in the trash can. And my mom has actually been at the house, my mom's been very present about keeping things. Like she loves to acquire stuff, but now she has these rules. She's had these rules in place for a long time. Buy something new, get rid of two.
Ooh.
Yeah. So she's like, oh, I like these shoes. I want these shoes. But if I get these shoes, then I have to get rid of 2 pair of shoes that I currently have.
Wow,
that's impressive discipline to actually follow through with that too. Because no one's really checking her on that, right? She could just kind of do it.
Yeah, I don't think so. But I do have a lot of bins in their basement of stuff I need to go through. And it's mostly garbage, but there is some stuff in there that are probably keepsakes or things I want.
Yeah.
I've been away from home for 20 years now, over 20 years, and I haven't needed any of the shit in the bins. So
that's a good point.
Fine. But some of it my kids would probably like to see, a lot of awards and accolades, I'm sure, just like stacked
That's
up
just
there.
what the bins are. Trophies. Just trophies.
I do have trophies and
I'm sure you do.
There. But they're no good to me. Like, what do I care? They're funny. Like, I have some state champion swimming medals that I think would be funny to put on chains and wear them around as an adult and be like, high school state champion 1997.
Sorry guys, I need to sit down. All this metal just weighing me down. It's so heavy.
As the gold paint wears off the tungsten.
Ooh, a multicolored gold medallion. Wow, that's cool.
You're wearing 2 types of metal, real solid gold and gold colored tungsten. Yeah. Probably not even tungsten. What's the really cheap?
Just like aluminum or steel.
Something,
Something
probably like that.
Right?
So, I think
this is actually a bag of stuff that I got at my parents' house that's like my middle school drawings, some of my papers that I wrote like in middle school. And this is
that
whittled
cool
way
citizen
down.
Bag?
Oh, yeah.
We all got one of those.
Yeah.
Do you have multiples of those?
Taking it way back.
Is that just the one that you got from the helicopter trip?
That's the one I got from the trip.
Mm-hmm. So, me personally...
And to your point, it was fun to go through that with my kids and be like, look at my drawings from middle school.
Yeah,
I can't believe I still had those. And my daughter was like, whoa, Dad, you were a good artist. And I was like, yeah, and she's an artist. Yeah. So that's, we were talking about legacy on one of the recent podcasts, the idea of like what you do kind of passes down, whether you try to or not. So that was kind of a cool point to connect. So, yeah.
Yeah, I should go through that. I do need, it's just like 12-hour drive up there to haul something takes a while because I usually fly. So finding the right opportunity to get that stuff down here. But myself in my life, I do fairly good. Like I go through my stuff every once in a while and get rid of it. And if I don't need it, like, I simplify because I don't want that pile of stuff. Part of it, living in Arizona, you can't have piles of stuff outside because you got scorpions, you've got snakes, you've got all that stuff hiding in there. It's too dangerous.
I mean, where can you really just have piles of stuff outside, though?
Because if it's in Georgia, it's just wet
stuff,
and nasty.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, fine, guys. Fine.
Yeah, you're
but
wrong,
you can't even
Tyson.
have.
You're
you
wrong.
can't even have like storage stuff like bins sitting on the ground there because those will So you can't have like even like outdoor furniture-y, binny stuff is tricky.
What about a storage unit?
I mean,
that's basically people just storing stuff that they don't need.
I hate that.
We have a storage unit. It's a small one. I hate that we have one.
And you're paying to just store garbage that is you don't care enough about to keep with you.
Well, some of it's like past taxes that I don't need. Like,
you don't need.
Some of it is Christmas. A lot of like house decoration stuff.
Yeah.
Also, we do like, it has like all of our summer clothes are in there instead of here at the house, just to keep the house a little cleaner.
Oh, okay.
So
I like
those kind
that.
of things.
Yeah, that's kind of nice. And also, it keeps your kids from like going to the summer clothes in the middle of winter.
That's really smart. But that's true.
So I like that. Okay. I like that a little bit more now, but you can always also just lock that stuff up in the garage or do that stuff like paying to store stuff. I don't know. It seems like
William, what about Tyson's flex there on the garage? You have a garage you could lock something up in? Because I don't.
No, I don't have a garage. I have
sorry, Tyson. I guess we're
store
just not
your stuff at my garage.
Store your stuff closer. I would 100% do that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but I don't know. I feel bad like putting stuff because I feel like once you get into a storage unit, you're not getting out of that shit unless you make a real conscious effort to evacuate.
We're in it until we move, basically.
And even when you move, you're just moving it to another storage unit at a different place.
Yeah.
And it's never ending. And then you're like, we need the storage unit. We've built a life around having an external storage unit. And now we'd have to change everything to get that out of here. So that's an extra cost.
Basically, we treat it like a garage because I get a bunch of gear that I review and stuff like that. I've got probably like 4 suitcases in there that are great suitcases, and I use them every now and then. I don't need access to them every day here. A bunch of Citizen Watch boxes, like the storage boxes.
Do you have
those
to keep
nice.
Those?
Yeah, I keep those because I never knew if they need to go back or if they're going to go back. Sometimes we use the boxes when we shoot, so I just have them on hand for that.
Okay.
So anyway, and that's the reason that we keep that. But I didn't know if you like. What about you, William? Like, is this a conversation you have to have with your parents, or was that a concern when you were married with your in-laws and that kind of stuff?
So my parents' basement is full, so full, and me and my mom are really similar in a lot of ways. We both have bad ADD, and like we're always working on like trying to get things taken care of and patched up and then put away, but also it takes a very long time. I think that my mom is aware of like what you're talking about and trying to get rid of some of this stuff, but it's just so hard for her, especially when, like you're saying, that my parents have been in that house for 40 years now. So they've accumulated so much stuff and so much of it has sentimental value to them. And it's really full. Me and my sisters have talked to them and talked to each other about possibly helping to clean it out, but I don't know, it's tough. And they've also been talking about moving out of their house for the last 5 or 10 years. And I think a big reason that they haven't done it is because of all this stuff. Like the stuff is kind of like an anchor and not always in a good way. Like it keeps them there because of that. And if they didn't have all that stuff, and they would probably be living in like a plush little condo with a bunch of other retirees.
Having some sick amenities.
Yeah, it's you accumulate stuff. Like me, I'm really, really lucky. I'm really blessed in that I lost my house last year, so I had to get rid of all of my possessions.
Shout out. Big shout out to your house being lost.
So like I did maybe 4 or 5 full truckloads of stuff to Goodwill when I lost my house because I didn't want to get a storage unit and because a lot of this stuff was, I mean, essentially trash. Like you just pick up so much crap throughout your life and you think you're going to use it, you don't use it. And then in a situation like that where I had to downsize dramatically, it was like, why do I even have this? Like, I don't need this. Like I have 100 different types of gardening tools. I need like 3. Like I've got all of these different sleds. Like they're too small for my daughter now. I've got all of these things. And since then, so I got rid of, 75% of the things I had before my divorce. And now I want to get rid of even more. Like I'm going to have to move again because I'm living in an apartment and I want to move out and get a house for me and Rowan and
Shiloh.
Sorry,
Shiloh the dog.
So I love minimalization. I want to minimize more. I think that we all get so attached to possessions, and these things end up being anchors, and we spend our money on them, and then they keep us where we are instead of getting out more and spending that money on adventures and seeing the world. So I mean, I'm a big victim of it, or I do it myself. Like I buy a lot of things that I don't need, and I think it's just really detrimental, and I think it's not helpful, and it's bad for everything.
So how can you stop buying things you don't need? Do you have a system?
No, I don't have a system, and I still, especially with my daughter, like, I mean, how many Christmas presents did she get? Like 50 Christmas presents.
That's a whole nother
thing,
use. Right? All the stuff of people giving gifts. Yeah, that's a good point.
I don't know. I'm just more conscious now of, well, space-wise, of course, there's that. But then because of that experience where I had to get rid of all my stuff, I also just realized I didn't need a lot of that stuff. And now I try to keep that in mind when I'm tempted to go on Amazon and spend a bunch of money on a bunch of crap.
Yeah, I have a system.
Oh,
what is it?
And it's not as good as my mom's system, where it's
I love
buy
your
one, get rid
mom's
of two.
system.
Yeah, me too.
Buy one new, get rid of
It's
two.
amazing.
I think that's just an easy thing to do.
My system is a little bit different, but it is it better? Is it the new number one thing of the things that I have? Like if I buy a new hat, it better be top hat. Because if not, then
you would look good with a top hat.
A top hat, exactly.
Especially a beaver pelt one.
Hello, Governor. Welcome to Phoenix. I'll play some pickleball.
Let me put my monocle on.
Oh, looks like the ball was in. Hey.
But like if it's not in the number one slot of the things that I have, then what's the point of putting it in the rotation?
Yeah.
So like, oh, I like this hat. It's not as cool as 3 of the hats I own.
Yeah.
Out.
Better be the new favorite.
It's the new favorite. If it's not the new favorite, no matter what it is, jacket, new favorite, cool. Then I can now have an internal conversation about whether or not it's worth it or if I need it. But the first question is it taking the number one slot in that category? And if not, it's so easy. No. And I've tried to teach my daughters that because they'll be like, I want this. I was like, will it be your new favorite sweatshirt? If not, then just keep the favorite one that you have at home that's still going to be the favorite because that's going to be the one you go to the most.
Yeah.
And forget about this one. And so, And I think that has kept me from buying a lot of stuff. And it also, I use the stuff that I buy because of that system. Obviously, there's one-off stuff like phones and things like that where you're like, oh, and I've tried harder to not like be that guy who needs a new phone every year. And like my phone's almost 3 years old. It's going to be 3 years old.
Yeah. When's your light phone coming?
It's coming. It should be this month or next month.
Oh, nice.
So getting a new phone anyways, even though as I'm simplifying, I'm getting another phone.
But it's a different phone. And it will be your new favorite. I know you're going to be using that a lot.
Yeah.
I like that idea. I think teaching our kids how to do that as well is really valuable. And sometimes that's through demonstration. Sometimes that's, do what I do, not just what I say, because ultimately that's how parenting works so frequently. William, I'm curious from you, is that an awkward conversation with your mom? Like, hey, Mom, you're going to be passing in the next 20 years and you can control where this stuff goes, or me and my sister or siblings or whatever have to come in and take time and spend days
and who knows what we're going to see.
This. Yeah, going crazy.
I mean, we haven't really got that detailed into it and like made it like a priority. And she's definitely going to listen to this podcast and be like, "Oh my god, oh jeez."
Well, do you want to say what else do you want to say to your mom then? Here,
I love you, Mom.
Yes.
It's okay that you have a lot of stuff, a lot of just beautiful memories. So thank you for keeping on to those. Whenever you are ready to work on that, me and my sisters are here to help. So,
and that's fair.
Yeah.
So it's not so much about like pointing fingers or like that person's wrong or bad or whatever. For me, it's kind of more like I look at, I saw a video recently and this British show had taken someone's house and laid everything out in an airport hangar, super organized, like all the toothbrushes, Kirsten. Yeah. That's my wife making a cameo. all the spatulas, all the strollers, like all the stuff. And they came in and they were like, this is not our stuff. Like, there's no way that we're filling half of an airport hangar with our stuff. And it's like, yeah, some of that stuff you need. But when you really lay it out like that, it's like you were talking about, William. You're like, do I need 10 sleds that don't actually fit for my life anymore? And I think it's the bigger question is like, maybe it's more identity. Maybe it's more like, in our midlife, we feel like we've made it because we have the nice this or that, or we have a closet full of clothes, or, and maybe it's something deeper. You never had it as a kid, so now you can get it as an adult because you can buy these things. I don't know. There's a whole lot going on there in it. Maybe it's the dopamine hit, just to buy it. That's something I see with my daughter. My 11-year-old wants to buy the new, and then it just sits. It's like, oh, I love that stuffy. I want to get the stuffy, and then it's like,
it's
where's
definitely the dopamine hit.
Yeah.
With me, like when I do fall into that, it's like I'll buy a couple things, and then the next day I want to buy more stuff, and it's always like in little periods of time.
Yeah.
Because of that dopamine hit. Like, okay, cool. Now, I kind of need this. I'm going to get this too. And then thinking about it, Amazon. Oh, I saw this pop up the other day on my feed. I could probably use that. Yeah. So like kind of like spirals.
It looks cool. It's got a nice design.
$5 for a battery charger. Yeah. This is great. I'll put it right next to the other 8. None of which I ever need.
I looked at battery chargers the other day on Amazon. I was like, this will come in handy sometimes. Look at how powerful these little ones are now. I haven't had a new battery charger in forever. And then I'm like, when's the last time I needed a battery charger?
Thank you. But those are enticing. Flashlights. I don't know what it is about a flashlight. I can walk into Home Depot and they got them right in the front and it's $4.99. And I'm like,
my God, they're so
I could get one that goes on my keys.
Yeah. This one on your keys is 7 trillion lumen, and it's waterproof. You're like, I could dive with that too?
Yeah.
When's the last time I dove with a flashlight? I do it once a year. I love night snorkeling, but I don't do it very often. I have a light.
Yeah.
Why do I need 10 lights? I don't.
Yeah.
I have 10 pair of, no, not 10. That's an exaggeration. 3 pair of Defin body surfing fins. Because they have tons of different colors.
Yeah.
When's the last time I body surfed? I body
in Phoenix,
surfed
rare.
Last year in Maui.
Okay.
And so,
did you bring them with you all the way to Maui?
Yeah.
Okay. Good on you for that. Good on you for remembering.
I'm a pocket knife guy.
I don't ever use. Pretty good.
I don't ever use pocket knives.
But you always carry one.
My dad uses his pocket knife all the time. It's so funny. Anytime somebody has something to open,
I got a knife.
Yeah, he just pulls it out instantly. Yeah. I'm so proud of him every time. And because of that, I like wait for that opportunity. So I see somebody else like struggling to open something. I'm like, hold on 1 second. Gene Drumm's here to save you. And he pulls out his Swiss Army. And
well, this one's cool because it has a flathead screwdriver on the back end of it there.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then it locks, and then it locks open too. And
it's sweet. I like that knife.
That's a cool little one.
Cool little guy. So I have 3 of these.
But they just kind of sit in like a catch-all.
Same exact one. Because I was like, what if this company goes out of business? Stop selling these knives. I got to stock up now.
Because they could break.
Yeah,
this amazing company that
will dull. And when I sharpen it, it's not going to be the same as when it was brand new.
Yeah, it's that brand new.
I do love getting rid of things with my daughter. It's really fun. So every 3 or 6 months or whatever, we go in and kind of organize her stuff, and we give away stuff that she doesn't want to Goodwill. And she's so good at it and like loves doing it. And it's always really fun. There's a lot of things that I would think she wouldn't want to give up, but she kind of like looks at her other stuff and says, I think we can give this to another little kid, and then sorts it out. And I'm always super proud of her because she doesn't like try to hold on to everything like I would expect her or expect kids to do like that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
My kids will not give anything up for anything, no matter what, at all costs.
Hey, your friend really needs some shoes. She can't go outside to play. Not from me. Not from me, Dad.
Yeah. Well, then I won't have the multiple pairs of shoes.
Yeah.
Like stuffy bins. So my wife goes through and just donates it secretly. But the problem is my wife doesn't know which stuff is the kid's priority. So she'll get rid of stuff, and then the next day,
hey, where's the pink elephant?
Yeah. Where's that thing? And my wife's like, I don't know. You must have lost it. Somebody lost it. I don't know where it is. Never takes.
You got to stop losing your things. God.
Yeah. You're grounded.
You're grounded.
done. That's great.
Yeah. So I don't do it because my wife has been caught like throwing stuff out that's garbagey, and the kids will go through to throw something away and be like, "Hey, why is this in the trash?" And then pull it out
many times.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
So
you got to get that out like it's like contraband.
Yeah.
And you got cops coming in. You got to get that out of your vehicle. Throw it out the window while you're driving.
Exactly. So what did we learn today? Did we learn anything? Did we teach anything?
I like the rule. I like the, get something new, get rid of two. I mean, I think for me, I struggle with, for me, it's kind of like a personal thing because, and Kirsten kind of is going through this a little bit with her parents as well, which is like, guys, we need to get rid of some stuff here, like parents wise. And it's kind of hard to parent your parents in those things.
Yeah.
And maybe ultimately it just is what it is and we'll just deal with it. Is it worth bringing up and making a big to do? Because I'm pretty sure if I brought it up, it would be met with like feeling like I'm judging or there's resistance to it because it's like, what are you saying? Or, whatever. Legos, did you just come in here? Come here. Legos just came in. Legos is my dog. Come here, Legos. Come here.
Yeah. I saw the door open and I thought it was a ghost.
Do your parents listen to the podcast, Bradley?
No, not really. But
just send them this episode, and then you don't even have to have the conversation or anything. That's
true. They're just mad at you for just mad at you for no reason, and you don't understand where their anger's coming from.
Yeah, and then I find out that some of this came up too because there's a trend that's we listen and we don't judge. Have you guys seen this on social media?
Yeah.
You say it together with, like, let's say there's three people. I've seen a couple with like two parents and a kid, right? Yeah. And you all say it together. We listen and we don't judge. And then one person says something that probably no one else in the group knows. Yeah. I let the air out of your tire one time before baseball practice because I really didn't want to go. And the parents are like, and then it's like, nope, we listen and we don't judge. So you can, it's like basically free reign. Now I don't know what happens when the camera goes off because I'm sure there's a pushback. Yeah. But I feel like I don't want to be encumbered by my stuff, by my things. I want to be light. And I know everyone has junk drawers.
Yeah.
Right. Everyone has too many of something.
Light, but it's actually taking action that's the hard part.
Yeah.
Yep. That's why I was so lucky. So lucky.
So lucky to lose that house.
I think that's what we're learning here. The takeaway is sell your house without your partner knowing. Also, the way to clear out your kids' stuff is to just do it. Just throw it in the trash and then blame it on them and ground them.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't, yes. I mean, I think you just have to be aware of it and figure it out. I also think like the parents, like having that stuff, that's memories to go through too at some point with your kids, like going through stuff and being like, and part
Make
of
it a positive
too is like,
experience, right? Like, let's go through it together, and instead of just like, you need to get rid of this stuff. It's more
Mom
like
has
embrace
1,000 pairs of shoes. You know what? She loved shoes. She loved going shopping and looking at shoes, and this was her style. Yeah, like that's still like memories to be had. Like even the minute or small or insignificant things are still probably there's memories attached to a lot of them, or at least something you can learn about. It's not all bad, but I think if you're a hoarder, like I had a friend whose dad passed and he was a hoarder, and he went in, he's like, it was literally filing cabinets of papers down every single wall in the house everywhere you turned. So you were just like stacks of boxes of papers, of stuff, of everything. And he's like, it's just too much to go through. We eventually just hired like a crew to just throw all of it away.
Yeah.
So don't be that, because then there's no memories because nobody's cherishing that. But
that's another good point too, is like when you do have too many things, you just forget about all of them. I mean, I see it with my daughter. I see it with myself. She's got so many toys that she forgets about all of her favorite ones because they get stashed away. Yeah. And like with me, scuba gear wise, same thing. I've got so many wetsuits and cool little scuba things,
trinkets
and flashlights and knives and
some scuba jewelry,
fins and all this stuff.
Why don't you post pictures of those flashlights?
Yeah. Let's see the flashlights.
I want to see your flashlights.
So it's better to
You can't appreciate the things you have.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You have less stuff, you appreciate it more. And having less things also just makes those things that you have a lot more important.
I had a friend who was like, I want to be able, at the drop of a hat, to everything I own fits in my car. That was his, like, he didn't even have a bed. He just had an air mattress. Like, he was like straight up Jason Bourne.
I used to be that.
Really?
Yep. Yeah.
And what changed?
I got married.
That's what I was going to say. And you needed some stability, obviously.
I had an $800 car with about $30,000 worth of stuff in it.
That's hilarious.
At all times. 2 or 3 pairs of skis, a mountain bike and a road bike, and just keeping it on hand because you never know when an adventure is going to pop up. And lived in an apartment that was at a resort. It was like part resort, part private. So I was renting one of the private.
This was in Utah?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was a pretty sweet life, you know? And my life's sweet too now, but back then it just like nothing.
Easy.
Always ready.
Yeah.
Never had to go, like, had snowshoes in there all the time, had running shoes in there all the time, had,
it was like a Dick's Sporting Goods mobile.
Mobile, yeah. And I was just like, nobody knows the treasure trove of this car if they just punched one of the windows out.
They're like, let's take this Toyota Tercel. Wait a second.
Ford Contour.
A Ford Contour.
Almost got it to 300,000 miles before it totally died.
I was going to say, before Ford discontinued it.
They discontinued it. And oil changes didn't do that. Was when I would just dump oil in every like 6 months. Just dump another quart of oil in.
Yeah, you don't need to change it. It just burns it all up.
Exactly.
Space.
Exactly.
You just put in some more.
You get it. So
you don't need the filter. Yeah, that's great.
Let's encourage people to simplify and ask the questions before they buy new stuff. Like, do I need this? Should I buy this? Is it good for me? Is it good for humanity?
I also like, Tyson, I like your rule too, which is like, is this the new favorite? If it's going to be the new favorite, then maybe you combine the rules. It has to be the new favorite and you get rid of 2.
Yeah.
Buy one, get rid of 2. Yeah.
I've also got kind of a loose rule about when was the last time I used something.
That's
so
good.
So if I haven't used something in like 2 years, it's like, I haven't used it in 2 years. Am I going to use it in the next year or 2?
Yeah.
Probably not. It should probably go to Goodwill.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that too. Well, hopefully you've all learned something today and we can all simplify our lives. I know that it is not a constant battle for me, but like I do look around and be like, time to simplify a little bit. Let's get rid of like 30 hats and all that stuff. So as I make room for a new number one. And shout out to William's mom. Thanks for listening. Shout out to William's mom. We'll all come help if you need it. Yeah, we're all there. Okay. Thanks, everyone. All right, guys. Yep. Bye, everybody. Keep crisising. Peace. See ya.